what got my attention. I'm an airline pilot, and when I saw Alan Boyd voted for cap and trade, I leaped off the couch. I said, that son of a gun, he's going after my job. I said, all right, Al, fight's on. I'm coming after your job. So that's what really got me focused in like a laser on what was happening in this country, and the fact that they voted in cap and trade through the House, and now they've got a bill over in the Senate. And like everyone has mentioned, this needs to be voted down because it's going to just kill us in terms of jobs within this country. And all you have to do is look at who's for this bill. Who's for this bill? Libya's Gaddafi, he thinks it's a great deal. India's obviously for it, and so is China, because they know it's going to make America less competitive in the world. And the whole reason for this bill, it's not about greenhouse gases. It's nothing more than Obama putting forth his progressive socialist agenda. We've got to make America weaker so that the rest of the world will like us better. I never cared about who liked me to begin with. You can ask my wife, right, Shelby? I cared about her. That's about it. But this whole thing is nothing more than a tax, plain and simple. It's not going to save the environment. It's not going to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. It's not going to reduce our carbon footprint. It's not going to change the temperature 1 degree in the next 50 years. It's a tax. They need revenue. They're not making their numbers. This business, the federal government in Washington, is going downhill rapidly. They have started all these socialist programs. Now the checks come in due. And we know that with Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, the government and the checks that they have promised, they're not going to be able to fund them. That's what cap and trade is all about. But we can turn this around, we can cut our taxes, and we can get America back to work, and we can grow this economy. And then we get all the programs in government. We get rid of the inefficient ones, and we get this country back on stable footing, and we make sure that you're protected in your retirement.
Thank you. We move on now to the next question. Mr. Sutherland will be the first to answer. Illegal immigration has been in the news lately a lot. What is your position on illegal immigration and the protection of the U.S. borders? And do you have a take on the laws recently passed in Arizona? Mr. Sutherland.
I think first of all, we are a nation of laws, and we have been a nation of laws since our formation. I believe it is critical for an orderly society for us to adhere to those laws and to enforce those laws. So the very first thing we have to do is we have to seal our borders. We have individuals that are coming into this country without any knowledge of who they are, when they come, and what their intentions are when they get here. And so therefore we have to seal our borders, and we have to make sure that we have the resources along those borders to ensure the safety of the American people. That is the single greatest responsibility of the United States government, is to ensure that you and I go to bed at night safely, so that we wake up and we enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness tomorrow in safety. So therefore we've got to seal those borders. As far as the recently passed Senate Bill 1070 in Arizona, I believe that that bill will stand up against scrutiny because of the concurrent application, the concurrent enforcement of that bill. The federal government has abdicated its responsibility regarding that bill. And what they did when they created that bill is they threaded a needle, and they did it masterfully. They threaded the needle the way Arizona's law does not in any way impinge upon the federal government from doing its job. It allows the federal government to do its job. So the question is, when does Congress, who passes a law, given them the authority in the Constitution, when can they totally disregard it? When can they ignore the Constitution? I believe they're doing so now. And I don't think that anything in that Constitution forbids the individual citizens of the 50 states of this country from protecting their citizens. And I applaud Arizona and every other state that does the same thing.
Thank you. Mr. Scholl.
Illegal immigration. Having spent time in my F-15 days going through training at Phoenix, Arizona, and also serving down at Yuma, Arizona, Marine Corps Air Station there, been up close and personal with the Arizona board. Totally support what Governor Brewer is doing. She's standing up for states' rights, 10th Amendment. Doesn't violate the 4th and the 14th, and I thought it was excellent the way they wrote the bill, how it mirrored the enforcement of federal law. And that's what it said in the first paragraph of the bill. It's a very short bill, very simple, and she's just doing what the federal government needs to be doing. But the thing that really outraged this, how many people saw when Presidente Felipe de Calderon was standing on the White House lawn? You guys see all that? And as I sat there and I watched that, I go, here is our President of the United States. Standing there, he wasn't outraged. And I thought, why isn't he running up there and stopping this individual that's come to visit our country, standing on the White House lawn, and he's giving him a pass. And then he gives him a ride in his limo down to the Capitol, and they do the same thing. And I was thinking, what if Reagan was there? Could you imagine President Reagan standing there on the White House lawn as this criticism takes place? I could just see him, he would go, cut, cut, scene's over. We're going to move this out to Andrews Air Force Base, and we're going to film the sequel, General Felipe de Calderon Returns to Mexico. He would have escorted him out of the country. We need to secure our border. We need to build that fence. It's 2,000 miles. We've built 600. Janet Napolitano said we can't do it in less than 10 years. We can go to the moon and back, but we can't build a fence in 10 years. Over there in Niceville, my buddy runs Niceville Fence. If you've got a Whataburger every 20 miles, his crew is going to build that fence 20 miles every day. And we're going to have that fence done in 140 days, I guarantee it. So we need to secure our border.
Thank you. Ms. Ulster.
Sometimes, here's what I think, ladies and gentlemen, you got to tell the truth whether people like it or not. I've studied the law for 30 years. These men don't have a legal degree. There's a problem in Arizona, and I support what Governor Brewer has done. But we're either going to uphold this Constitution, and it's going to be important to us, or we're not going to uphold it, and we're going to have anarchy. I think what's happening in Arizona is absolutely a result of the federal government not doing its job. Make no mistake about it, I support what Governor Brewer has had to do, but the right to do that is given under Article 1, Section 8 to the Constitution. And it is a preemptive federal power. The federal government just did not do their job. And one of the things that they want done when they did the Article 1, Section 8 was for there to be uniform laws throughout this country. We can't have states all having different laws in regards to immigration. Now, the truth of the matter is the immigration laws have been on the books since 1986. When President Reagan was president, amnesty was granted to 2.5 million people. They were to finish the border, and they were to do employer verification. Those laws have been on the books, and the federal government has not enforced those laws. We need to immediately close the border and start e-verification as is on the books before we ever look at another law. But this is a federal law that must be handled at a federal basis. I may not like it, these gentlemen may not like it, but we didn't write the Constitution, and they give to Congress the power to deal with immigration. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll give if you would like, another 1 minute rebuttal.
I would love that.
Mr. Sullivan.
I never had a degree in divinity, but that didn't prevent me nor my father from teaching Sunday school. You do not have to have a law degree to read law. I have served for 3 governors in this state. I have chaired 3 boards. I have understood law, statutes, rules. I've written those. I've had lawyers sponsor those at the state capitol. It's not rocket science. And so for my opponent to say that it requires a law degree to solve the issues facing this country, it violates what our founding fathers said when they said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, meaning common sense. Not self-evident laws, not self-evident understanding or common sense that requires a law degree. So I disagree vehemently with my opponent on that point.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
I want to thank Professor Olshner for pointing out the fact that I don't have a law degree. regardless.